Hi guys, it's the Doctor again for the second Slender Nation podcast. I have with me a very prestigious person in the Slender Man mythos and in the Slender universe. I have with me the creator, the man himself, Victor Surge.
Hello, everyone. I am the quote-unquote creator of Slender Man, Victor Surge. Yep.
I must say, it is an honor that you forum and decided to talk with me. It's quite an honor myself. I mean, never would have expected it, believe me.
Well, I had seen the forum pretty much right after it began. But I'm so busy with a lot of real life stuff that I really didn't have a whole lot to devote to Slender Man itself, much less, anything based on Slender Man. So, yeah. And then, then I did some searching, and I'm like, I think it's about time I do something with it, or do have some sort of part,
Yeah, of course.
And so I joined up.
Excellent. Most excellent. Well, over the past week and a half, I've had my forum members private message me some questions that they would like you to answer and maybe get your thoughts on some specifics and some not so specific.
Yeah, I'll do my best with the specifics, and I'll explain why as we go on. So
perfect. But yeah, so hopefully you guys will see or maybe hear. Yeah, see. Maybe you'll hear. Maybe you'll hear your question. Maybe not. So I guess we should just kick this off with the one of the main questions. Would be what was your original view, like what was your original perception of Slender Man, and how does it differ from his current incarnation as you've seen him in vlogs and blogs and stuff like that?
Yeah, actually, and it's funny with the blogs and the video blogs and everything is I tried to avoid as many of them as possible for as long as I could, mainly because I had, of course, my own ideas on what Slender Man is or what it could be, and secondly because I was really impressed with a lot of the stuff, and I'm like, I'm not doing this cool stuff, it's kind of jealous. But I did finally get into looking at some of the stuff, and oh my God, there's just so much. I was looking at Chase's blog, which lists all the blogs and video logs and whatnot, and there's just so much to go through.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And some of them are okay. Some of them I'm just like, I have no idea what's the whole core theory stuff. I'm just don't even know what I'm doing there.
I completely agree. Core theory has gone beyond, I think, anybody's perception at all.
I know. And but anyway, my original, originally, there was no. When I did the posts on Something Awful, there was no plan. There was no, I saw the first couple pages of that thread, and I said, oh, these are pretty good. They're kind of creepy, it looks like there's a ghost there, but I can do something creepier than that, I'll just throw this together. And it was literally 10, 15 minutes of thought.
Wow.
And I started gathering assets, and, I opened Photoshop, and I just started, putting them together. Obviously, there was some thought in what do I find scary? What would I find creepy personally?
Yeah.
So I just threw those together. As it continued on, the posts. Most people typically see the end of the post. My posts on that thread as the sort of Slender Man, right in the camera, running upstairs post. But there were a couple after that, and the way it took shape in my mind, and the kind of horror I like, or the kind of paranormal whatever, is that sort of mysterious organization, sort of, it kind of like, and I didn't even know about this website before I think like 3-4 months back, but that SCP Foundation.
That website is amazing in my opinion. I'm constantly on there, flipping through new cases, as it were.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of feeling I was trying to go for myself. That's kind of what I wanted to do with it. And then I started reading that. I found that stuff, and I'm like, holy crap! There's a whole lot of this sort of thing, on this website. And I read through every single entry probably in a few weeks.
Wow.
And I was just like, yeah, this is what I was going to do with Slender Man. This is not very similar, the sort of the way it's official reports and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I started kind of focusing on Slender Man being, when it talk about the intelligence of the Slender Man, I like the whole low intelligence it's actually low intelligence or instinctual or omnipresent. It's hard to tell because, his motives are unknown. You don't know what he wants. What is he doing? Who knows? He's just a force,
It's just, he's there, and I think that's kind of what builds into his fear, people's fear of him, is they really don't know if he's all-knowing, all-powerful, or if he's just, like, there. It's I think that adds a lot to the animosity and the mystery of it, in my opinion.
Yeah, when he gets too personified, too much, human, sort of human intelligence, I mean, those things are more reserved for you, like you see, like demons and poltergeists and ghosts, and this is more Lovecraftian, more cosmic, I guess you'd say, and I definitely dig that.
I swear, if I saw Slender Man and Cthulhu going up against, the battle of the ages.
And someone hit it on the head. Like, I also wanted it to be more, throughout the ages, different people, different cultures, different times. He would look very different. Same general concept, just different looks, And that's pretty much what I kind of had in mind. He's territorial, in my opinion. He's territorial, not in a sort of physical territorial sense, like a mountain lion, but more in a metaphorical quantum sense,
Oh, yeah.
Like, you impede on his territory when you think of him, or see him, or perceive of him, or
exactly
things like that. So
then I am in deep trouble. Then, my God.
You all are in deep trouble. Completely.
I think we should watch outside of our windows, people.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, what was another one? I have my list in front of me. As it stands now, because you mentioned that you wanted to get back into, kind of give your creation kind of your own, kind of add into your own creation. Have you thought of ever considered re-entering the game by making a blog or a video series, kind of like Marble Hornets or stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought of it, but as someone in my position, I have not a whole lot of time. Not a lot of time and not a lot of people that I could really involve where I am now, where I'm living now. So that would, I'd love to write some stories. I'd love to write, do some more Photoshops. I have a few that I'm thinking about doing, just some kind of, just nothing like super involved.
Okay.
'Cause I love, playing around with Photoshop. It's,
Hey, and anything from you picture-wise is like our holy grail, believe me.
Yeah, so I have a series of 5 pictures planned. I have another picture that I did a long time ago. I don't know if anyone's seen the on my DeviantArt. I have an entry called facility camera.
Facility camera.
Yeah, 34. And there's a second half to that story and a picture that goes with it that I haven't done.
I must say, I actually have not glanced at. I've been busy as well with a new job and something like that. But yeah, I actually haven't looked at it, but now I just might have to.
Yeah, I'll probably post it on a thread when I get the second half done.
Perfect.
As long as my other Photoshops that I kind of want to do. So.
Hey, like I said, holy grail.
I gotta finish my wedding pictures first.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yes, congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just in case everyone wants to know, I'm 30 years old and I'm married. Yes.
Yeah, I must say, like, my first, before you and I started like talking, I must say my perception of you is probably more around my age, a 19-year-old kid sitting at his computer, kind of laughing at laughing. I created that.
Well, to be fair, I was 28 and unmarried when I did it. So when I first started doing the posts, so things change quick.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Why did that go down? Are there any specific blogs or video series that you do kind of watch more so than others, like Marble Hornet, Stride 12, Seeking Truth, A Hint of Serendipity. I'm not really up on the blogs, but are there any of those that you kind of watch and read and stuff like that?
For the video logs, it's pretty much more Marble Hornets and Everyman Hybrid. And I haven't actually seen the second season of Marble Hornets yet.
Oh,
so I gotta get on that.
Yeah. No spoilers, but it is awesome.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely watch that, because I mean, right after they started doing that, I got an email from Alex, in the show. His name is Alex in Marble Hornets.
Yeah.
Talking about it. And that's the only time I've ever talked to those guys. I think it was sometime after entry, maybe 8 or 9.
Okay.
Maybe 10. So, yeah, I watched those two. As for blogs, I'm not too into the super, like I said, the involved ones. I really dig Slender Bloggins is okay, and the more informative ones, like what was it? Yeah, Encyclopedia Slendera or Slendera.
I couldn't tell you, honestly.
I like the ones that talk about it in a more academic sense, a postmodern, as a postmodern creation. I think that's probably the most fascinating thing to me.
Yeah.
I don't find it probably as scary or as creepy as most other people.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. So,
oh yeah.
I definitely like the talks about tulpas or postmodern horror, stuff like that.
Personally, if he ever were to, like, let's say, manifest, I probably would. I subscribe more to the tulpa theory myself, as in his thoughts or people thinking about it and stuff like that, kind of bring him forth and kind of manifest him. I don't know. That's just me. But then again, ever since starting the forum, I haven't been as scared of him as I used to be. I used to be petrified. I think in the last year I've had only one dream, and he wasn't even in it. But I don't know. It's weird. But needless to say, yeah, the tulpa theory is more like mine. Oh, and also as a side note. I know the guy who created Slender Bloggins, and he is going to love that you dig his thing. But anyways, huh?
Yeah, the tulpa theory. Yeah, that was another part of what I viewed the Slender Man as sort of a tulpa.
Nice.
Whatever shadowy organization that was kind of controlling the information flow, or testing subjects that have seen him and all that good stuff, would try to invoke certain aspects of Slender Man in society as a whole. Like it would explain why we see that sort of character shadow people, or those characters on what was it, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the gentleman or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they introduce all these aspects that all kind of come together, and that way, everyone becomes kind of aware at a certain level, which would throw up a lot of interference,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely dig that whole aspect of Slender Man.
Yeah, I actually, it's kind of ground to a halt because of my writer's block, but I actually have been attempting to kind of write an actual Slender Man novel myself, and I kind of use it like that, like, in trying to play with your original description and mythos. What I'm thinking of is, like, he is a tulpa, and the reason he kidnaps children is because of their innocence and how they fear him, and their fear of the unknown kind of keeps him powerful and keeps him, like, stable on this plane. And that's kind of what I rolled with. Like I said, it's kind of ground to a halt with my writer's block and just my procrastination, because I'm lazy.
Yeah,
but
same here.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm not alone.
Yeah, not at all.
But that's kind of what I was going for with that. But hopefully I can pick it up soon. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
What else? Why do you think Slender Man took off like it did?
I really have no idea. I mean, I have theories, I have, conjecture, but I have no idea. I mean, obviously, a big catalyst of its popularity was Marble Hornets. I mean, even its thread, even the popularity in the thread itself, it took me by surprise. And that's the only reason why I continued doing more posts, obviously, because I was just going to do the one, people would say, oh, that's cool, whatever. But, after the first few responses, I'm like, oh, I can do more, because I love playing with Photoshop, like I said, and, I can make more freaky images, and then I got more into a story with pictures to sign, nothing definite, of course, because that would take the mystery out of it, the scariness. So yeah, that surprised me. And then, Marble Hornets came out, and, it's part of the canon. It's like separate from the canon, and it's part of the canon, They never call him Slender Man.
Yeah, I think the term they use is operator.
The operator, right. Himself. And even Alex said himself, this isn't necessarily Slender Man. We don't consider it necessarily canon. It's, people can still do Slender Man stuff. You have your Slender Man, we have our operator.
Yeah.
It's, separate. It's separate, but, regardless of what their intentions were, it, much like the original thread, took on a life of its own, and a lot of the aspects of the operator, have mixed with Slender Man and vice versa. So,
I see. Well, yeah, that's what I was always wondering is with Marble Hornets, why before that radio interview came out with them two, I always wondered why it was never what kind of semblance or what kind of meaning the operator symbol itself was. I never really knew what it was. It was just a symbol that 2D Arc used a lot. But once I figured out that that's what they call him, the operator, instead of Slender Man himself, that I kind of started to realize that, yeah, you have your Slender Man, but they also have something, they have the operator, which they're similar, but yet the mythos between you and Marble Hornets, it's close, but yet not the exact same.
Right. Plus, Slender Man itself, lends itself to not being, pigeonholed into a certain storyline or canon or anything like that. So
exactly, there's a lot open to interpretation.
Right.
Exactly. Well, actually, that kind of segues into my next question. Out of the three major video series, which would be Marble Hornets, Tribe 12, and Everyman Hybrid, which is the closest to your original design?
Well, they're kind of. I mean, I haven't seen Tribe 12, so what is the basic story behind Tribe?
That is a great question. Honestly, me myself, I've always been a fan of Marble Hornets. I came in at entry 14, and I just lost my mind with that. It's amazing. Everyman Hybrid, I started to watch, but ever since they kind of deviated away from Slender Man and kind of went into this rake thing, and I couldn't watch it. Tribe 12, basically at first it was copying Marble Hornets. It was like my friend started to see something, and then he died, and I'm trying to find out why, and it's devolved into something completely and wholly different. But honestly, from the way you've been telling me, I actually shouldn't really include Tribe 12 in that kind of question, just because Tribe 12 doesn't seem to really fit with your design much at all.
Well, they both have, looking at Marble Hornets and Tribe 12, they both have aspects of the whatever the entity is that are, similar, obviously. The descent into madness, the increase of sort of the information you gather about Slender Man or the operator, whomever it is, leading to, more interaction with it. I like Everyman Hybrid a little better because, it starts out as a video, we're going to work out,
Yeah, workout training videos.
Right, workout training videos. And that's the sort of thing that's more closely related to what I would like to do, or, my design, I guess. That you'd have, this everyday life, this everyday mundane thing that would just slowly deteriorate into, unknown terror, So, Marble Hornets kind of just jumped at you right off the bat. You know, it was just like,
Yeah.
I got these weird tapes from my friend. He disappeared. There's crazy crap going on. Look at this. In the yard, there's a dude with a suit and no face. Right off the bat. Whereas Everyman Hybrid took 3 or 4 or 5 episodes to kind of get into it.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess with me, Everyman Hybrid. When I first started watching it, I agree. It was amazing. I loved it, and I kept wanting to see more. I mean, it blew my mind with how, like you said, how mundane and how normal their lives were, where they were just trying to help people work out and give them tips and instructions. Mm-hmm. Well, then Slender Man enters the picture, and it all goes right to hell. Mm-hmm. But see, my problem was I can't, the video name escapes me, but it's the one where the one guy was like at that burned house or burned school or whatever it was, and he was talking about like, when I was a kid, I was caught in a burning school. I was like, I can understand that, but I don't think that's originally what they set out to do. I think they originally set out to just do a Slender Man series, but it kind of devolved into some psychological thing. They have something now with like this thing called habit. I don't even want to begin to get into that because that I don't even know.
I think what's going to happen to a lot of these video series is basically a sort of the same thing that happened to the writers and producers of Lost. It's like what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Next season or I don't even know if they had it planned episode by episode. I'm sure their show Bible was just a patchwork of random stuff. And I mean, that's not a bad way to go about doing it because you don't know what's going to happen. You can speculate all you want, but in the end, you don't know where it's going to go, which keeps you watching, incidentally.
Exactly. And, like with, I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as I can with Marble Hornets because I know you haven't seen season 2, but the most recent video of theirs kind of does that same thing. Is like you had no idea that was going to happen, none, and it threw everybody and it did a complete Yui, and everybody flipped, myself included. But I'm gonna deviate away from that before I spoil anything for you because that would not be nice.
Yeah. But if you take it too far, if you take the you're never gonna figure it out thing too far, then people are just gonna be turned off by it. And that's what happened to me with Lost. I'm like, whatever. At this point, you just get fatigue.
Yeah, exactly.
Plot
it's like
fatigue.
Yeah, you want to know. You got to give somebody tidbits and little things. You can't just keep everything in the dark the entire time. I mean, shoot, I stopped watching Lost actually around the 2nd season, and the only reason I know what happened at the end because I watched like one of those videos on YouTube, Lost in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool. Good guy, bad guy, light guy, dark guy. Not gonna matter. Here's one of them that I actually thought up on the spot. If you met Slender Man in a dark forest, what would you do?
I would, I don't know, tell him to make it as painless as possible. I don't know.
Hey, that
don't
works.
Flay me too much. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Quick and painless. There's on YouTube there is a ton of parodies that people have done. Some of the most notable would probably be Slender Man, which is
I have not seen that and I want to. I saw it. I saw it mentioned, but I haven't seen it yet. Actually, I can look at it. Hold on, let me just look at it and then see.
Actually, yeah, we'll get like a live
viewing of Slender Man.
Yes, live reactions. It's I gotta admit, I watched it once and I thought it was actually pretty hilarious. Although, me personally, though, the 2 women who acted in it just kind of seemed like they were really forcing it.
Oh, man. Let's see. Here
we go, people. A live reaction to Slender Man. If the makers of Slender Man are watching, dear God. If you're listening, this is for you, apparently.
Okay, it's kind of like Marble Hornets. Got the text on the screen. Footage, okay. I know what I'm hoping for, but let's...
Oh, trust me, you have no idea. It's so stupid. It's funny. It's hilarious.
And YouTube's loading.
Yeah, YouTube. Oh, for all its innovations, YouTube still kind of blows when it tries to load, especially on your computers.
Play. Okay, there's two girls. Come on. Best live viewing ever.
Agreed.
Oh, come on. I want to see this now.
I have to admit, they do talk a lot.
Well, let me just load it up. We'll come back to it.
Yeah,
and,
we'll head back to that after a couple more questions. So
Yeah.
we gotta sit here and listen to us say nothing, I guess. Okay, we'll just stick with the same question. I mean, if you've seen any parodies, which one actually just makes you stop and just like laugh? Just it gets a little chuckle, I guess.
the $20 thing. I had no idea what.
Oh boy.
I was like, what? $20? What?
Oh boy.
I mean, it's gone from having a mythos to having parodies done of the mythos. I'm just
$20.
baffled.
Oh. That one, I honestly have no idea why it was set to that song at all, but I have to admit, I mean, a lot of people got really tired of it really quickly.
Right.
I haven't heard much of it, but actually one of the most recent parodies I saw was of that entry number from Marble Hornets where it's like Maskey's like doing his weird little head twitch thing, and it's talking about, in the background it's got this music or not music, thank you, audio recording some African American guy talking about Pokemon. It's weird. I mean, I'm just like, what? But $20 is kind of, I still find it funny.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I just watch it every day, but I guess, no, I don't. I don't. I have so many things to do. God, I wish I could just sit around watching videos.
Agreed. It'd be nice.
Because, like I mentioned to you before, I work at an elementary school. So, yes, I made up a horrible creature and I work with children, so. And I'm like 6'5", so.
Symbolism there?
6'5", like 200 pounds. Yeah, I'm pretty slim, so I'm slender myself.
I'm like 6'2", 6'3", and I'm like not even close to being slender. No. Okay, well, let's see, what do we got? So, you said that you kind of wanted to get back into the mythos with, like, the pictures and things like that. Is there anything else that you may have, like, slated or have ideas about, at the very least, that you would like to contribute to the mythos itself?
Well, there's a few things that I guess I could say I'm collaborating with people on.
Ooh.
There's nothing like definite or, anything like that. Like there's screenplay stuff in the works, with a screenwriter. But he's doing a book right now and it's just kind of on the back burner. It's just kind of like a free option right now, basically.
Okay.
They're calling it, so we're just kind of writing stuff. There is a production studio he's connected with.
Well, okay, so this is like an actual Hollywood thing?
Yeah.
Oh man!
But like I said, nothing's going on with it really now.
Hey,
it's not like it's we're in filming. No, nothing like that.
Oh man! Oh.
I mean, it's not even past the first draft stage.
And anything, if you tease something like that, people are gonna go crazy. I guarantee.
Yeah, no, I mean, first draft stage. I mean, screenplays go through like tens and tens and tens of drafts. I mean, this is just pie in the sky sort of stuff right now. So.
Yeah. Gosh, I guarantee you I'd go to the theater to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw that Tall Man stuff, but it doesn't look very connected, so.
No, I actually, there was a thread on my forum about that kind of got me piqued my interest. Sadly, with what I've been going through with jobs and I'm moving soon, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I haven't been able to kind of post as much as I want. But I saw that and that piqued my interest. I'm like, it looks like an axe murderer, like, slasher kind of thing instead of Slender Man. But actually, this actually kind of segues into a question just off the top of my head. I don't know if you've seen it, but there is like a Slender Man kind of short movie on YouTube. Have you seen that at all?
No, I've seen it's derided, but I have not I have not watched it. No.
Word of advice: don't.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's just horrendous. But no, I mean that's really good news to. I mean, even if it is on the back burner, I mean that's to know that is a possibility that there may be a motion picture in the works. Oh man, that's like mind bomb.
Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is there's a television show on right now on cable, and there might be a mention of Slender Man for a few minutes, possibly.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
It's I don't want to mention the show yet,
Of course not.
or the station it's on, but there are probably listeners who have seen the show. I actually don't have cable. We don't watch a lot of TV. We have Netflix, so my wife and I watch a lot of that.
Lucky.
I know it's so much better and it's cheaper. And again, I have other things I can be doing with time other than watching TV.
Of course.
Like Photoshops. And so there's the show on cable, and it's got creepy stuff on it. And there might be a mention of Slender Man, a couple minutes worth of mention. But I emailed one of the researchers for the show just today because I haven't heard back in a couple weeks. So obviously it's the weekend, so I won't hear back, until probably tomorrow. So I just emailed to see if there's any movement on that with the network.
That's awesome. Actually, that reminds me of something. It's kind of redundant coming from me and kind of silly, but you wouldn't happen to be a Doctor Who fan, would you?
Yes, I am a Doctor Who fan.
Yes!
Big Doctor Who fan.
Thank God! Oh, okay. Before I go on, favorite Doctor, 9, 10, 11.
Well, let me say, first of all, I consider the Doctor of the time to be the Doctor. I don't try to play favorites because, you have to love each incarnation of the Doctor.
I see.
David Tennant.
Yes! Oh, perfect.
As long as my wife doesn't hear me, because that's her favorite too. And I'm just like, no, but the new guy's good too. The new guy, I like the new guy. Matt Smith is awesome. He's not bad. And she's like, oh, I like David Tennant. So,
Matt Smith. I actually put off watching the 5th season for like a month because I didn't want to think of anybody else but Tennant. I think if you've caught up in the episodes, I think the one where I knew he was going to be a good Doctor was like when he was on Stonehenge. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, by the way, where he was on Stonehenge and there was all his enemies flying about and he's like doing his little thing. I was like, "There's the Tennant in him. There's the Doctor."
Yeah, I mean, from going from Doctor to Doctor, at least with these newer ones, there are some qualities retained from the older Doctors, and he's definitely more chaotic, even more reckless.
Oh yeah.
Than Tennant. They're getting more reckless as they go on.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But I have to admit, when David Tennant regenerated, only time I've ever cried at Doctor Who.
Oh.
I'll freely admit that. Yes, I'm a pussy. I'll admit that.
You know what? I cried during Doctor Who.
Hey,
it was the Angels. They scared me that bad. They scared me that bad.
Oh my God. Ha. Oh, the Angels. Oh. The newest episode of the Angels, Matt, petrified me. Quite literally. But anyways, now that we've gone off on tangent with Doctor Who.
Oh, but by the way, the old ones, I like the old ones too. They're different. They're good. They're cheesy, but they're good.
Oh, my favorite would actually have to probably be Tom Baker. I actually haven't watched any of the old ones. I've only watched 9 through 11, but there was a clip on YouTube I've seen of Tom Baker where he's like, I think he just regenerated or something, and he's in like a doctor's ward, and he's like, the doctor goes, "I'm the doctor, and you need to go to the sick bay," and Tom Baker goes, "You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor." Say, I lost that. But my question is, in the upcoming season, the sixth season of Doctor Who, there is a picture that I've seen of a tall, thin man in a suit. Well, didn't look like he had a face. I guess it's kind of a two-part question. One, if you can tell me, is that the show? And two, if it is or isn't, what do you think that might be Slender Man, or would it just be some other weird being?
Stetsons are cool. That I saw the preview. It looks like it's a gray in a suit.
Really?
It's not the show I'm talking about. No.
Okay.
Yeah. And it looks like it's a gray, so it looks like some combination of the Greys and the Men in Black. I don't know, but hey, it could be a reference. I have no idea. I really don't. I saw that.
I actually could see that. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, when I'm thinking about the picture in my head, his head was kind of like bigger than normal. There was we were actually discussing this on a thread a while back. If Slender Man was in Doctor Who, like Slender Man versus the Doctor, and there were a lot of people who were like, yeah, we got to do that, and then there was others that are like, no, because the Doctor almost always defeats his opponents at the end of the episode. You can't defeat Slender Man, and I don't know. Personally, I think it would be cool if they did it right. If it's like he didn't defeat Slender Man, but he kind of like
contained.
Yeah, contained or stopped him or did something like that. Right. Personally, I think that would have been badass. But
I could see that, the containment thing. Yeah, it's like you can't. I could see it. It would be cool. Doctor Who would win. It'd probably take 3 episodes.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, 3. At least 3. Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Okay, just gonna go through my questions here. I'm kind of running out. So, I know that there's a lot of what gives Slender Man his popularity is his mystery, but is there anything that any outlet of him, whether it was a blog, a video series, anything like that, is there anything that they've just gotten like just completely wrong about him? Like there's no possible way that is what you thought of.
From the few I've read, there's a few, yeah.
Could you?
Let me take a look at the list. I don't want to name names. It's like I said about Slender Man. Like, it's not something you want to, say that's not right. That's not Slender Man.
True. I mean, it is kind of a mystery, and like I said, that is what gives him his popularity. I guess what I'm trying to ask is there like anything that you see of Slender Man, like in any shape of media, that you look at and you say, that is just not what I intended at all.
Probably a lot of the sort of almost like self-fulfilling fantasy superhero-y type thing. There's some of that stuff in there. There's a couple I could mention, but like I said, I don't want to mention in case who it is.
In case they listen.
Yeah. A lot of the proxy stuff I find not partisan.
I'll get to that question in a minute. Continue.
Okay. Because I don't disapprove. I'm just saying, for me, that's not what I was kind of thinking of or going towards.
Okay.
A lot of that stuff. It's kind of the invisible hand of online pop culture that will there's some people who will get into a sort of circle of this is our canon, this is our mythology, and they just kind of sit in their little cluster and make their thing, and it's completely different in a lot of ways, but that's their thing.
Yeah. Internet.
Exactly, it's the internet, and trying to control the internet. You know what happens when you try to control
Oh yeah.
Or anything on the internet. I don't know. I might have 4chaners trying to hack me as we speak. I don't know.
Oh dear. If that does happen, my sincerest apologies.
Oh yeah.
I hate 4chan with a passion, but that's just me. Anyways, that was kind of another thing I wanted to ask. With Marble Hornets, the introduction of what they call Masky, or Masky, the guy who wears the mask and like tackles everything.
Right.
Apparently. I think we all got to know, like, does that seem stupid to you? Like there's been a lot of theories of how Slender Man is controlling him, or he's like become a devout follower of Slender Man. Does that could make a complete U-turn in what your original design was?
Well, yes. In my design, yeah, but how much does that count for? But when it comes down to the operator, it's perfect. Yes. It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
He is the operator. Whatever he does, however consumes you, it works perfectly for that within that context.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so
I mean, yeah. Excuse me. When you think about it, when you think about the operator and Slender Man as two different entities, um, I guess taking from the operator's name, the operator, he's like an operator, he's a controller. So I guess that, yeah, for face value, I guess that would work. I don't know. A lot of people just like gush over Maskey. I don't. I think honestly, it was a good addition when it started. Like in the entry where he just like was sitting there and then just tackled Jay to the ground. That was pretty cool. And there were a couple of entries where I was just like, that was cool. That was really good for you to put him in. But others, he grates on me, and I don't know why. But then again, that's just me.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing Slender Man, this is Slender Man. He has proxies, and of course, within the context of a certain blog or a certain sort of construct you've created for the Slender Man, I don't see it as something that should be said that's not Slender Man. Again,
Of course.
kind of comes down to what you want to do.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I guess the internet will twist and warp creations in any facet. So I guess, yeah, I mean, proxies were good at the beginning when people started doing Slender blogs. Now it's just not even. Oh boy. Okay. Another question off the top of my head. In your welcome post on my forum, well, our forum, I shouldn't say mine. I shouldn't take all credit. You said that you had looked around for one of the biggest Slender forums you could find. I was wondering if obviously I'm pretty sure you've heard of Unforum. They have their own little Slender ethos thing going on there. Have you joined them at all?
No, I haven't. I was kind of being sarcastic. I felt that the Slender Nation was, it's the Slender. I mean, all of you out there, that's the Slender Man forum. It's Slender Nation. You click on Slender Nation, and boom, it's Slender Man right there. So
true. See that? Funny story. The Slender Nation was actually created out of a completely different reason, but it grew into the point where I want it to become the premier place for anything Slender Man, as it were. Unforum, a lot of people think that my website and me in particular me and Unforum have like this feud going on. Honestly, we don't. I mean, I really hold no animosity for Unforum. I was on Unforum for a good couple of years. That's where I would watch Marble Hornets and wait for everything else. I just felt that there should have been a forum dedicated to just Slender Man instead of just a little subtopic, I guess. And so I guess that's kind of where the brainchild came about, more or less. But I mean, trust me. The minute my he was called Judge Claude Frollo on the forum, but now it's Seto Kaiba. He's changed his name so many times it's not even funny. When he first told me, at first the first little red flag went up in my head. It couldn't have been you. There was no way that it was you. And so I had to question it. And I felt kind of bad because I was like, if it is him, I'm questioning that, and that's not nice of me. But at the same time, it must have been a troll. And then I saw the something awful thing. I literally just went, oh dear, oh boy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just a normal guy on the internet, really. I Google search Slender Man. I get more Google hits for Victor Surge than I do my own real name. So
Which I won't mention here. I'm pretty sure privacy is a good thing.
Yeah. But
that's actually why I haven't invited you into the Slender Skype chat we have going on, because I knew that the minute you entered that, you would probably never be able to leave.
Yeah.
It's not with people.
But you can learn more about me even by just looking at Victor Surge than my real name anyway. So it's not an uncommon name, Or, so. Yeah, I search around, and I don't frequent a whole lot of forums, Again, I read a lot of forums, but I don't post a lot in forums,
Of course.
So yeah,
Of course, like
like
when I looked at that something awful post you made, the guy right below you was kind of, he looked like he was kind of shocked, like, oh, it's Victor Surge. What do you think of this? It's like, I see.
yeah,
um,
if you wanted proof, I had plenty of proof.
I, I felt, like I said, I felt bad for asking and kind of like saying you need to prove this or else I'm going to think you're a troll. But at the same time, I was just like, this is way too good to be true. This can't happen. No. um, but what was? Do you think that you've since Slender Man took off as he did, or it did, I guess? Um, what would you say that it's like? Oh God, I'm trying to think. I had it in my head. I had how to word it, and it just went. Um, would you say that it's kind of changed you in the sense that you kind of now know that you're never going to be able to live that down? You created Slenderman. You're never going to be able to live that down. Do you think that's like changed you in any way?
um, not in particularly. It it's fascinating, especially
Yeah.
if you go out of your way to try to make something and make it popular,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of expecting these things and how it's going to change you
True.
and whatnot. But when it just happens, you're just like, okay,
Uh,
there it
it's like,
goes.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, it just made a really, it was a tiny snowball. Now it's a really big snowball going down the mountain.
Oh yeah. I don't think it will be stopping anytime soon.
No, obviously not. If things keep happening,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the movie that could possibly happen. The
someday.
mention. Keep my fingers crossed because that is something I would. I don't go to the movies often, but that is something I would like stand on a corner and whore myself out to get money for. Honestly, that's me. But I mean, me personally, Slenderman is. I don't want to say I'm as obsessed as other people are with it, but at the same time, well, people would expect me to since I created the forum. But I want to say that it's not so much as an obsession as it is general intrigue and like something new. It's
Hmm.
still new to me. Like I haven't. I mean, I haven't seen anything since that has even come close to being as popular and as widespread as Slenderman has become.
Hmm.
Um, the Rake might be slowly crawling up there, but I highly doubt it. I don't. The Rake is beyond me.
Right.
Um, but yeah. Oh, another one. I'm a big video gamer myself, as you and I have discussed.
Hmm.
And what would you think about a video game based on him? Like kind of like I want to say if you've ever heard of Amnesia: The Dark Descent, it's a new game that a lot of people are doing Let's Plays for.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What would you think about something like that?
That would be perfect. That would be better than a movie and better than a book, in my opinion.
Excellent.
Because both movies and books kind of they don't play up to the the full promise of what Slender Man is.
Hmm.
Something that's you can interact with.
Of course.
Like a book. You could do a book. You could do a very strange book. It'd have to be
Oh
kind of
yeah.
weird. You could do some short stories, but it would just never be what it is online.
Yeah, you'd never get that full experience unless it were like in front of you and you were playing a game.
Hmm.
Oh, I mean that's
So it would be really cool. It would absolutely be cool.
yeah. I must admit I like once again I don't pre-order games, but I'd be rushing to the GameStop for that one. I guarantee
I would get all 1,000 gamer points guaranteed. I get them
it.
all.
Easily.
I have to. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Um. So okay. Um. How does your wife feel about your new wife? How does she feel about all this?
She finds it interesting. I can talk about hey, these people think this. It's really crazy, isn't it? She's like, yeah, it's really crazy. She's like, they don't know your name, do they?
Address,
I'm like,
phone number.
no, they don't. They don't know my name. I'm not like.
Woo.
It's like, should I put some false information in and lead them off the path? I don't know. So yeah, she finds it interesting as I find it interesting. But we're both kind of the same. I'm probably the you know, I'm not. I don't know if you'd call me a Slender fan. You know, I like Slender Man. You know, but
Hmm.
it's so different when you make something. You know.
Yeah,
And,
I agree. When you make something like that, especially when you get into those video logs, Marble Hornets, I think Jay and Alex, or Troy and Joseph,
yeah.
as they are, they really they may have created a somewhat different entity, but at the same time, I think that they were actually really devoted to this and put their hearts into it. And not to say that the other ones, Everyman Hybrid and Tribe 12, not to say that they haven't, but I think it's just the level of devotion that Marble Hornets has. Uh, when you try to make something like that, you kind of have to be really into it and kind of like plan it out and stuff like that. Get your in the mindset of what you want to do and become a fan like that, devoted as that is. But I mean, I can kind of agree. A Slender fan, I am a Slender fan, but uh, only insofar as that. I mean, it's still, like I said, it's still new. It's still it can sometimes still scares the crap out of me. Like I said, I've had one dream in the past year,
Yeah.
and he wasn't even in it, but I for some reason knew he was. Difficult to explain. But yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to say is it's like you got into you got to be devoted to your craft in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Slender fan again to the degree where I want to continue doing things with him.
Yeah,
But I'm not going to gush over. I'm not going to be, you know, like an
like these little.
egotistical creator gushing over his creation and trying to
I did this. You
cajole
must
people
worship me as a god.
into, you know, following my every women wish, or anything like that. And I don't find him like super scary. You know, I haven't had a dream, you know, about him. I found the Rake to be scary, but you know, I didn't make the Rake. You know that.
True.
You know.
Yeah, that's. I think it's when you create something, you're not as afraid of it because it's your own brainchild. It came from your head.
Right. Right.
And so, but see, that's the thing is, I actually find it kind of hilarious how just afraid some of these people I've talked to are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not from my own forum per se, but from like other facets and outlets. Some people are petrified of him. It's just, I mean, actually, that's a good question. How would you what would you tell somebody if you met somebody that was like completely petrified of Slender Man? What would you kind of tell them?
You want to, you know, I can show you all the source art I used to make him. You want to see all the little bits and pieces that went into Slender Man? Here they are. They're in this folder called Slender Man. Here they are. This is what you're afraid of on my computer screen. And your brain, you know? I mean, I find certain things scary, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll read, you know, through Something Awful has like a ghost story thread. You know, like this is the spring ghost story thread. And I'll read those at night, and they'll freak me out, you know?
Creepypasta.
Yeah, creepypasta. I watched Paranormal Activity the other night.
Oh,
and I was like,
movie, by the way.
I'm like, that's really creepy. That is really creepy.
Yeah.
You know.
Me and my friend Noah, which everybody laughs at me because the main character in Tribe 12, his name is Noah, but I'm talking. If you've ever seen Internet Critics, the Spoony one, I actually know him personally. He me and him have kind of that same thing. I mean, I like Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity 1 and 2, The Last Exorcism, those kind of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Those genuinely freak me out because it's like you don't know what that is or what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what is added with Slender Man is you don't know exactly what he is or what his intentions are. It just makes it all the more intense in that respect. Although, like I said, I'm not gonna cower in my corner with a light and a excuse me, a light and a picture of the operator symbol going, "Be gone, Satan!"
Yeah.
But
yeah, and you know, I don't know if this comes as a surprise to other, you know, it might come as a surprise to people, but I'm like, when it comes down to it, I'm a huge skeptic. You know, I loved Paranormal, you know, Activity when I was little, you know, younger, growing up, but now I'm like, you know, I worship like posters of Carl Sagan, you know. And
thank you, somebody else who worships Carl Sagan as I do.
Oh, it's just, you know, I listen to one of my favorite top 3 podcasts is Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, you know. James Randi would not approve of my hobbies, and that's really sad.
That's awesome. I actually have never heard of that podcast. I might have to look that up later.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's like I listen to that one, Giant Bomb, and Rebel FM, which are
Rebel.
both gaming podcasts. Yeah, video game podcasts.
Oh, I definitely got to get into that one. Oh, okay. There's a good question. I know that you've recently, like, I've seen you on Xbox Live, which, by the way, if anybody has my Xbox Live gamer tag, don't even think about it. Because I know you probably want your privacy. Because I know my friend, one of my friends, like, hopped on immediately when I even mentioned it.
Yeah.
But I see you've been playing a lot of Fallout New Vegas, which, by the way, Bethesda whore right here. What other video games do you play?
When I have time, like I said, let's see, I've been playing. I mean, oh god, so many. Because when I get a game, it's kind of like a book. I don't go to other games. I have to get all of the points. I have to get all.
Same here.
If I don't get all 1,000 points, I feel like I've wasted my money. And I know they mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing except for a waste of my life. It's like, how many years have I wasted?
I want the back.
So I've been jumping around. A lot of Borderlands.
I actually have not played that, and everybody tells me I should, but I like I said, I'm a Bethesda fanatic. I have New Vegas, Oblivion. I want to get Morrowind and Fallout 3 again, and I'm like going crazy over Skyrim. That's coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be getting Skyrim. Immediately. I'll pre-order it, obviously.
One of the only games I will ever pre-order.
So, what other games? Call of Duty 4.
Oh no,
played a lot of that. The Fallout 3, I played all of that. Resident Evil games, any Bethesda game, the flight combat ones, with the exception of Hawks. I like all the Ace Combat games. What else? I got Red Dead Redemption. Haven't started it yet.
Oh, great game, especially Undead Nightmare. The download.
I'll get that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mass Effect 2, of course.
Yes.
I mean,
Mass Effect.
Geez, who didn't play it?
Agreed. Who does not? Whoever does not like that game seriously needs to get taken out behind a woodshed and beaten. But that's just me.
Yeah. I just want to play Nintendogs. I don't like Mass Effect.
Yeah, you can go take your Wii and have fun. I'll stay with my nice Halo Reach edition of 360, which actually asks, do you ever play Reach or Halo at all?
I got a ton of points in Halo, but I haven't played Reach. I'm not a huge Halo fan. I'll get to Reach if I have time. It's good. It looks good. It is good.
Oh, I highly recommend it. It's excellent.
But I have to be really selective these days. I have such a backlog of games. I have Assassin's Creed 2, which I barely got into.
I can't get into Assassin's Creed. The first game blew so bad for me. It colored my perception. Okay, what about books, authors?
Let's see, books. I just read, my most recent book, I just finished Footfall, which is a book by Niven, which is a classic sci-fi book. People should read it, about invasion by little baby elephants. And we kick their asses.
Oh, I have to read this now.
Oh,
little baby elephants invading.
Oh, it's a good book. It's a classic. Asimov, a lot of science fiction.
Asimov,
Clark, Bradbury. There's some nonfiction thrown in. I'd have to go look out at my bookshelf, but it's in the other room. The Hyperion series, the Dune series.
Dune series, major fan. Dune series. Dune series is amazing in my opinion. I actually, I'm kind of I hate to admit it, but I'm kind of a Stephen King fanatic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've read Cell, which is epic. Under the Dome, a must read. It's 1,072 pages of pure awesome. I mean, my books, I have shelving units crammed with books. But I mean, yeah, science fiction, I'm into that as well. Asimov, Heinlein, I believe it's pronounced it, Spider Robinson. Just tons.
If I would recommend to anyone Alistair Reynolds.
Reynolds. Yeah. I have a couple of that. I have a couple of Reynolds.
which I really, 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 really like. So
Nice. Wow. Oh my God, it's been an hour. Jeez. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think of any other questions pertaining to the topic at hand. I guess, is there anything that you would like to say to aspiring Slender Man? I don't want to say fanatics, but enthusiasts.
Well, I mean, anyone who wants to make a monster or anything, just don't think about it too hard. The less you know about it, the less everyone else is going to know about it.
Is that kind of how Slender Man is? The less you yourself know?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. The less I think about it and the less I concentrate on it, the more, that comes from it. That unknown, you don't let things slip, because you don't know what to let slip, so.
Exactly. Okay, anything else you'd like to add before we close out, I guess?
I think that quote I have on the Know Your Meme, the interview.
Yes.
That I really, really like. Let me find it.
And then we gotta, before we close, we gotta do that live.
Oh yeah, I have it all loaded up. It's
excellent. Yeah, after we get this quote, we'll get that live reaction because I honestly, it's something you have to see to believe. Oh dear.
It's like, I'm just gonna probably switch over to Slender Man. You guys can keep Slender Man, and I will take Slender Man.
Uh-oh.
All right, let's see here. Where is it? Oh wow, there's added more stuff. Oh yes, it's before you had angels and succubi, then ghosts and spirits. Today we have shadow people and interdimensional beings. The Slender Man and other newly created entities are just the newest addition in the progression of a long and very, very real human tradition. You've seen him, now you can't unsee him. So we've made monsters, our whole time on this planet. And we will continue to do so.
Oh yeah, things that go bump in the night will continue to inspire us and frighten us to our very core. It's primal in a sense, I guess.
So with that, Slender Man.
Yes.
Let's see. Here we go.
Oh dear. Yeah, this would be.
Let's see. We got it back. There's clearly something very wrong. Okay, something we could not explain. Okay. Hope the sound works here.
This is something you will never be able to unsee either. I guarantee it.
Hey, Grandma. Hey. Me and Becky. Glad you got out of your surgery okay. Yeah, we're really, really happy. And we can't wait to see you again. Yeah, we're on vacation right now, but we'll be home really, really soon.
I want this camera. What camera are they using? It's fantastic.
I know. That was actually one of my first thoughts.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that reaction alone.
Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god.
That'll forever color your perception of your own creation, I guarantee.
I don't even know.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh man. Now I want like a parody of the Rake called The Rave, and every time he comes on they just play this house music.
Yeah, oh my god, The Rave. Yes! Oh, I seriously might have to contract a few people to do that now.
Okay, Rave.
That sounds nice.
Keep it under your hat until the Rake gets a little more popular.
Yeah, good point.
Jump on that.
Definitely. Well, I'd like to thank you for your time, Mr. Victor Surge, and taking time out of your busy schedule to have an interview with little old me. quite an honor, I must say. But yes, so I guess this will end the second podcast and the interview with Victor Surge. Once again, thank you for taking time to let me interview you. And kind of as an update for the next podcast, the newest entry in Marble Hornets is what we'll talk about. Also, depending on how we structure it, we might also get into maybe some discussion of core theory, if at all if it's possible to do so. But yeah, I think that should end it. Thank you once again, Victor, and I guess we'll see you on the forum, and right. I will see everybody else later on.
No problem. I'm more than willing to do this again, if necessary.
If
all
necessary.
Right. Take it easy, everybody.
Yep. See you guys later.
Bye.